Welcome to my channel. Magic Light episode 13 brought the participants together for a moment of reflection and maybe a bit of emotional reckoning. The topic? Their recent postcard dates. Chunang, always the one to break the silence, casually asked, "So, how were your postcard dates?" And just like that, the air shifted. One participant stepped up, voice steady but eyes full of memory. They spoke about reconnecting with someone they grew close to during their time in Italy. Back then, sparks flew, and this date reignited those same feelings. "It was special," they said, smiling. "We had a great time remembering what we shared." For them, this wasn't just a nostalgic stroll. It was a chance to finally talk with Ji, to clear the fog between them. Ji-wan responded with a quiet nod and a small smile, her silence saying more than words. Chung-hwan added, "We talked a lot. I shared everything on my mind." There had been a misunderstanding back in Italy, a shadow over their past, but it was already behind them now. They'd talked it through. No drama, just honesty. Then eyes turned to Ji-wan as Hanno asked, "What about you? How did it feel?" Before she could say a word, Woo-jae jumped in with a mischievous grin. "Oh, it went just like that." The group erupted into laughter. Sun Yoon, amused, teased, "Look at him, answering for her," and Chun chimed in, clearly impressed. "That's pretty cool." Ji-wan, still smiling, admitted she hadn't had a proper conversation with Chung-hwan since they got back to Seoul. "But in Italy," she said, "we made some unforgettable memories." Chung-hwan nodded, his voice now more serious. "We gave our all back then, and even if we had the chance to rewind time, I think we'd still choose the same path." His tone was quiet but firm, because what we felt was real. The room mellowed as Jim spoke next. His voice was low, eyes focused on the floor. "I wrote about how I felt on our last day in Italy." In every word came slowly, as if each one carried a weight. John, sitting nearby, said nothing, but her face revealed everything. Her expression was unreadable, yet full of meaning. Something between disappointment and something deeper. Jim went on. "Back then, I just followed my feelings, but now, being back in Seoul, falling into routine, things feel different." His honesty hung heavy in the air. Then Hunnell lightened the mood with a laugh. "Do you guys remember how formal we were in those letters? Reading them now, it's kind of hilarious." Jim smiled for the first time in a while. It was interesting hearing her side of the story. But behind closed doors, in a private interview, John didn't hold back. Her voice trembled just slightly. "Jim told me he wrote that letter to Hanul on our last day in Italy because he was upset with me." She paused. "When I heard him talk about his postcard date with her, I was shocked, and I didn't expect it, but I felt jealous." She looked away, her voice quieter now. "My mind understands why he did it, but my heart doesn't." So now the big question looms. Will Jim and John find their way back to each other, or are they already too far gone? And what about Woo-jae and Ji-won? Are their stories just beginning, or nearing the end? Stick around, because this journey is far from over.